Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently exploring the scripture Mysticism of Ramayana. Commentary is by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. We are currently on Lanka Kand. So we were just starting the actual battle between Rama and Ravana. So let's continue from there. Whenever the besieged demons began to run away, Ravana became incensed and shouted, "Anyone who flees from the battle, I will surely kill." Thus Ravana's soldiers, motivated by fear of their abusive leader, fought furiously, knowing that it was far better for them to die in the battle than to be killed by Ravana. As night fell over Lanka, after that first day of battle, Rama's generals and soldiers returned to their camp to rest. However, while they were settling in for the evening, the demons who became stronger by night used their special demoniac magic to launch a surprise attack against the monkeys and bears. Within a moment, they created intense darkness in which terrible clouds gathered and began to rain blood, stones, and ashes. Unable to see in any direction, the monkeys and bears became terrified and exhausted. Immediately, however, Rama rushed to their aid by discharging his fire arrow, which quickly dispelled the darkness created by the magic of the demons. Freed of fear, the monkeys and bears, led by Hanuman and Angada, rushed with renewed strength towards Ravana's army and destroyed a great many demons. As the remaining demons ran away, the monkeys and bears retired from battle for the night and returned to Rama, bowing their heads before him. Rama smiled at them with a gentle and gracious look, and that look was enough to free them of whatever fatigue they might have experienced, and they became joyous and refreshed and fell into a peaceful sleep. Mystical meaning. As this episode indicates, each day the monkeys and bears sustained many injuries in the field. But in the evening, when they came before Rama, his cool, nectarine gaze and compassionate presence healed them and made them whole again. In contrast, when the demons drew near to Ravana, he would glare at them and threaten them with death for his shortcomings. Thus, physically and psychologically, they would feel worse and worse. In this way, Rama's army continued to grow stronger and stronger, and Ravana's army became weaker and weaker. Similarly, in sadhana, the positive and negative forces within an aspirant are always battling, but the negative will gradually be defeated by the glare of ignorance, and the positive will continue to flourish under the healing and inspiring shower of divine grace. When you look at life's problems in relation to the ego, in the darkness of ignorance, all problems become much more exaggerated. When you look at your problems in the light of God within you, you understand them better, and they are simply and sweetly resolved. Every day, while fighting the battle of life, we are injured and put under stress. But if we practice meditation and prayer and thus come closer to God, within us with a spirit of surrender, we will feel renewed again and again. Sleep refreshes our physical body, but this form of surrender refreshes our psychic body. No matter how poorly we might have fought our daily battles, when we present ourselves before God with open-hearted surrender, everything is made well again, and we are inspired to face another day with intelligent self-effort. So how wonderfully this has been explained. We should always have that sweet surrender while still putting in our best effort and continue to do our sadhana and deal with our daily challenges. So let's move to the next episode. Meghanath wounds Lakshmana in battle. At dawn, on the second day of battle, the monkeys again rushed towards the gates to Lanka. Seeing this, Meghanath, Ravana's son, came down to meet them face to face. By the power of his demoniac magic and the terrible speed of his arrows, Meghanath destroyed countless monkeys and bears and sent the rest running in terror. Seeing the distress of their soldiers, Lakshmana, accompanied by the great monkey generals, marched into battle against Meghanada. Fearing for his life, Meghanada quickly launched a divine weapon against the chest of Lakshmana, and it struck with such terrific impact that Lakshmana fell down unconscious. Although myriad demon warriors tried to lift up his body and carry him off, they could not budge him. Hanuman only could do so, and he tenderly carried Lakshmana back to Rama's camp. Seeing his brother in that condition, Rama sent for Shushan, a physician living in Lanka, to come and prescribe a cure that would bring Lakshmana back to consciousness. Shushan said that if certain herbs growing in the Himalayas were applied onto the wounds of Lakshmana before the next day dawned, he would be healed. Without a moment's hesitation, Hanuman set out across the ocean to gather some of those precious herbs. Having learnt about Hanuman's mission, Ravana approached Kalnemi, a demon expert in creating magical illusions, and asked him to obstruct the movement of Hanuman. Accordingly, Kalnemi created a hermitage on the path of Hanuman that abounded with cooling trees and a picturesque lake. When Hanuman saw that peaceful spot, he decided to stop briefly to have the darshan of the sage that dwelled there and refresh himself in the lake. When he entered the ashram, Hanuman was greeted by Kalnemi disguised as a sage. He urged Hanuman to quench his thirst in the lake and then return to get his blessings for a successful mission. Hanuman hastened to the lake, and as soon as he entered, a crocodile, who was another demon in disguise, seized him by the foot. Hanuman struck a death blow to the crocodile, but before she died, she told Hanuman about Kalnemi's deception. Hanuman then returned to sage Kalnemi and said, "O holy sir, I have come for your blessings, but first receive your fee, it's called Guru Dakshina, as my spiritual preceptor." Thus saying, Hanuman swiftly killed the demon and proceeded on his way. When Hanuman arrived at the Himalayas, he found so many different herbs and they were growing there, but he could not determine which one was needed. In desperation, he simply plucked out the whole mountain summit and balanced it in his hands, soaring through the sky back towards Lanka. As he flew, Hanuman passed over the region where Bharata was living. Seeing the strange being in the sky grasping a mountain in his hands, Bharata became alarmed and dispatched a mighty arrow. Still clutching the mountain, Hanuman fell to the earth crying, "Rama, Rama." When he heard these words, Bharata realized that the monkey he had injured was Rama's devotee, and he was overcome with remorse. But Hanuman recovered quickly and related to Bharata all the news about the events in Lanka. Eager to assist in the recovery of Lakshmana, Bharata said, "O Hanuman, climb upon my mighty arrow with your mountain in hand, and I will shoot you straight back to Rama." Of course, Hanuman was amazed by Bharata's powers, but he graciously declined and quickly took his leave, saying, "O my lord, I have only to cherish the thoughts of your majesty in order to travel as fast as your arrow." Finally, Hanuman arrived back in Lanka with the mountain of herbs, and the physician was able to select the necessary ones to bring Lakshmana back to consciousness. The moment the miraculous herbs were administered, Lakshmana opened his eyes and shouts of joy reverberated throughout Rama's camp. So this is a beautiful Ramayana episode, and every episode is actually full of so many details. Swamiji here has given us just the nuggets so we can build an appetite and understand the mystic meaning, but then we should also do in-depth study and perhaps read the chopais and the shlokas of Ramayana in more detail if we feel inspired to do so. But this is just the essence that Swamiji is giving us, because he realizes many of us are so busy. So if we can even do a little bit but daily constant sadhana, we will continue to improve and accelerate our spiritual progress. So my humble attempt is to continue to bring to you these mini satsangas, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, maybe less, but to give you that daily dose, just like you eat your food every day, you brush every day, you shower every day, and you do so many things daily as your daily rituals. Please make this also your priority of thinking of God and spending some time with Him. And I am honored that so many of you are now listening to this in a dedicated manner. So divine blessings, and we will continue the mystical meaning of this episode in tomorrow's satsang. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.